So that,
Hi, how are you guys? We have a lot to talk about. Thank you, Jen, for running last month's meeting. Sure. This is being recorded? Yep. So notes can be transcribed, minutes can be transcribed. Does anybody, do we have anybody for today?
Oh, Jen had volunteered.
For today?
Okay.
We did. You're right.
You should see my notes,
Fill
though. I
the
don't know if I
gaps.
should say it.
Yeah, it was in one of the.
Yeah, I'm sure
minutes.
you're right. Fill the gaps.
Okay. And you're always volunteering. Kind of you.
Let's just do a quick attendance. When I call your name, would you please say yes? Cynthia?
Yes,
Jen? Yes. Steve?
Yes.
Bud?
yes,
Amelia?
Yes.
Annie?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Tina's a yes. So Carrie is not here today. Are we missing anybody else?
Hi, I mean.
Oh, Marlene, yes, I know Marlene's traveling. Okay,
Yeah.
and do we have a new edition approved or not? Somebody was at the last meeting?
Not yet. I
Right.
think we're waiting to schedule the interview.
the
time.
interview.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so we're actually, believe there are two candidates that
Well,
I believe we are interviewing. Is it one? or two? I think that Miles is trying to get two people on the schedule for January 11th.
Did you hear from the person I
I
was recruiting?
haven't heard back from her. I'll reach out after the meeting.
But I included your name,
Yeah,
so,
I haven't heard.
but she,
Is anybody for public comment?
Do we have, oh,
No, okay, I don't have the the minutes put together from last month. So we'll have to approve those in January. Okay. Okay. There's a lot to discuss here, so let's kick off with the annual report draft. Everybody got that? Yeah, thank you very much. for putting that together.
thank you for giving me something to write about.
Any follow-up, anything else you need from us?
No, but I'll do it again. But 2000, actually, I'm already in 2024,
Okay.
already did half of it. But I think we need to think about publicizing our work more after doing this, and we all realize how much we do and how important we are in the community. Just putting this on the town hall website is not enough.
I agree.
We use it, I don't think it's something you put on Facebook, but I think we need to think about other ways of publicizing our work, of making ourselves more visible. Actually, one of the things I thought about our flyer, and I don't want to discuss this now, but I'm hoping we could maybe get something. This is another way of disseminating information. This was the original, and this was something we treasured for many years. I know it looks kind of from the Middle Ages, but this was done many, many years ago by a student that served on our committee, and we just liked it so much we kept it. But what I've been doing is, and maybe if you could all do this for a future meeting, every time you go somewhere, if you see something eye-catching, a one-pager, I think
Okay.
would be, and let's think about that, and then maybe someone on the committee who's good with technology, or ideas, and we could put that together.
I have a question on example, on this, which is on, nicer stock and that type of thing. Do we have the funds to produce something like this, or,
I don't have the answer to that.
or would
Katie?
we, or would we need to get someone, a bank or someone to say, will contribute towards something like this?
HRC does not have a dedicated budget, but depending on what it is and how much we think it might cost, I can see if I can pull money from somewhere else. So it's,
Because it's really. nice.
if it's in the hundreds, it's easier than if it's in the thousands.
Right.
Just like order of magnitude.
And just quickly, other places I think we might highlight our work a little bit more is our webpage, town hall webpage. Maybe we could add the video that the Needham channel did recently publicizing our work. And also, we need to update the minutes. The last minutes posted were from March 16th.
That's me. I need to do that. That's not me.
Oh, okay. I thought it just goes automatically. Okay. But you could also delegate it. One of us could do it too. You're really busy. so.
Okay, yeah, I just have to organize everything that's on the drive, so.
Another way the leaflet could be used is we get to the point of a standardized way people can connect or initiate a discrimination complaint, that would be on that. And maybe it's better not to be so super shiny that we could then be able to change it without feeling we're breaking the bank.
Or maybe publicizing at town hall meetings. I don't know. If we've ever done anything like that, but maybe the complaint form might be a way to make ourselves,
Yeah.
introduce ourselves to the public.
Okay, yeah, we should think about, ways that we can extend our reach.
I suggest I actually think posting some, even if it's just a link to the annual reports, on, the annual report on the website and Facebook. But like, I was really, I know the work that the NHRC does, but to see it all like that, it was inspiring. And I think it like kind of gets the juices flowing when you kind of read through what the town, what we're capable of for next year.
Right.
So I think what you're saying is it just has to reach more eyes. So
Yeah.
how do we do that? And even just a simple link, I thought it was great. I think the more people see that, the better, the much better off we'll be.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, and I'm happy to help, however, digitize anything like that.
Okay.
Try to put my name in the hat for it.
Okay, I also would like to at some point, update our webpage.
And the town hall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
That's the thing we have control over, or is that like a?
I just feel like it's a little,
Dry?
yeah, I mean, I feel like we can,
So the framework of it, like the shell of it that you see, you can't take it and like turn it into Google.
That's
Like,
fine, but just-
it'll look the way it looks, but the content.
yeah,
You
exactly.
can absolutely adjust. You would just send what you want up there to me and we would post it. So you wouldn't be able to access the back end of our website. But you can send me the content, we can get it up.
So maybe that would be something for early next year, we can talk about,
Sure.
different ideas and just how to. Bring that a little bit more up to speed.
It sounds great. Yeah, I know that you have a certain framework that you have to follow in, with the town's website, but yeah, just amping up the content and kind of livening up, right, showing off some of the work that has been done the last year. I think it's a no-brainer.
And maybe looking at some of the other web pages. I thought there were some interesting things in the police. Some of the posts that are on there or the links that are on there. There's a wide range of, it's not just the usual.
Right.
We meet on Thursdays, the nitty gritty stuff, but some interesting things that are happening or future events or whatever.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's definitely keep talking about that. Anything else on the annual report?
So,
Motion to
I got
accept it as
feedback.
written, or-
I did get some feedback. If I don't hear any more, then Katie is going to get it.
Yeah, send me whatever the final is.
Probably the longest report in the annual report.
Yeah, and because there's so many good photos.
Okay, great. Thank you again.
Thank you.
It's great. The logo. Did everybody get the message that I forwarded with the logo?
This is very quick.
Yeah.
When I was at the Diversity Summit, I was looking at that beautiful banner that the Needham Resilience Network put up. And they had all of the logos from I don't know how many, 20 or more
Organization,
groups,
yeah.
organizations. And there was one with our symbol, NHRC. And people were saying, what is that?
Yeah.
And so the reason I suggested, I just shared two things that Kimberly Nichols from Needham Diversity Initiative did for us for the Diversity Summit, so people knew that who we were behind the bird. But I thought just until, and we may want to get another one, a different one. Several years ago, there was some conversation, but in the meantime, I would suggest that we have Needham Human Rights
Actually
Commission.
written out,
So
Yeah.
Kim did too, but if somebody wants to produce another one, then maybe we could change what we're using now, the materials that we're using now, and make sure our name is on there.
Yeah. That makes
Sounds,
sense.
sounds good.
So which one? One is a little more simple than the other. So the first sample just had Needham Human Rights Committee, and the other one had a line under it. And it was,
Start up.
I really like this one, right?
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well,
looked
thank you.
really, yeah, it looked really
Yeah.
slick, really professional.
Jumped out a
And it
little.
tells you exactly what it stands for, so yeah, I think it's a great addition. Yeah, I have the other one too, I'm happy to share, this is the other one too.
The other one is a little bit more, stands out more.
Yeah, yeah,
And you need, the whole thing needs to, of course, imagine it smaller on a piece of paper.
exactly, yeah.
We need a motion.
Did we need to vote on it?
I move that we adopt the new logo and just with NHRC with the line under it that says Needham Human Rights Committee.
I'll second it.
Jen? Yes. Cynthia?
Yes,
Ben? Yes. Emmy? Yes. Amelia?
Yes,
Bud?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Okay, so we are adopting the new revised logo.
so the logo itself is the same, it's just the wording that's better.
Does that have to go anywhere? Do we need to update any of our Facebook?
yeah, Facebook, and if we submit like the MLK, I think it's too late now. We're co-sponsor for MLK Day. They probably have everything produced, but
No,
I
they
could
haven't
check.
made up the program, Robin does that the week before.
Do we advertise anywhere else?
They don't put the logos on it.
There's no flyer? Isn't there a flyer?
A fire?
Well, this is the only flyer that we have, and we
Oh,
don't have any more.
And MLK Day, isn't there a?
Oh,
I don't remember from last.
I don't
It has-
remember if there are logos out there,
No, it's just the.
just the names
Yeah,
of the.
so there's time. I don't even know if they put logos in the program.
I
I don't think
I
so.
don't know. I haven't
this
been
is,
at MLK.
There's,
It doesn't have.
See, it just
Yeah,
has the
just
names
there.
on the bottom. the
Yeah, right,
co-sponsors.
exactly.
We're lucky to
Yeah,
get
so
the
that's
right-
not a
We're
problem.
lucky to list the right names. At this
Okay, so
point.
definitely,
Well, if we find an opportunity to,
Facebook.
yeah, I can reach out to Carrie. and-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a nice segue into MLK Day program and preparations. How are those coming along and what do you guys need for that?
Wanna go first, just to.
no, why don't you? I was talking.
I have, all this other stuff. I guess the main thing is the advents around, the advance program that's been put together so that this year, people who've been in the past may remember Dennis, brother Dennis, and his gospel choir. So he will be back.
He wasn't here last year, right?
Right, no, it's not. And, we have as a speaker, help me with the name, the president of Olin College, who's phenomenal.
That's great.
Begins with B.
Gilda
Barbone.
Barabino.
And we will have the Elliott School Choir that we've been happy to have in the past. And the plugged-in teen plugged-in band, and various other speakers and events that are still being organized. So what we want from sponsors is to do as much publicity as possible, to have you be there in person. And the specific thing I mentioned last month is that we are going to once again be doing refreshments. Yay! And I'm coordinating it, and I'm happy to say we have donations that are promised from Trader Joe's. Just got a gift card from Roach Brothers, and Starbucks this year is back in business, so to offer us, she said, what do you need? So we got it worked out, and Finn has promised at the right moment to ask Hazel.
Yes, after the holidays, I will reach out. They're very busy right now, so
So,
They're kind of busy now.
super.
yeah, so a few people said that they knew they were going to be around that day and would be willing to help, but there's probably that may not you know, people might not have known then, but I have down that Bud is willing to do his Trader Joe's trip. I walk in there and the guy talked to the customer service guy, Alfredo, and he says, "Is it that time of year? Tell me what you need." I mean, this is one of the reasons why we do this, is to develop relationships with the businesses in town. And our new person who isn't on board yet, Gregory, had said he would pick up the coffee, so if I know his email.
Yeah, I can chip in too, Cynthia, I'll be there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so,
maybe
pick
one
up.
of you to pick up and one to take back,
Sure,
to be all set.
yeah, I can coordinate too.
And if you know you're going to be there and you're willing to help either with picking things up or helping while we're there, it'd be great. And also, if you have ideas of places that might contribute. And I've talked with the Board of Health, and as long as we have things like cookies and not things like cream cheese and bagels that require manipulating and, you know, it's a bigger health hazard, then we don't have to apply for a license as long as a food permit, as long as it's establishments that are in Needham, because we know they're carefully inspected and monitored. So if anybody has an ideas of other places, I'm good for contacting them. We're on a roll, might as well.
What's the date again, please?
Monday, the 15th of January,
Okay,
10 to 11:30, 9:30 doors open and refreshments.
Have you gone in the past to places like, you said you don't want to do bagels and cream cheese and that type of thing, but like Bagels Best has muffins, they're places that, you know,
Trying to think of things really like cookies, because things that'll be easy to serve.
okay.
French press, I wonder?
French press will only give like 10% off. They aren't.
Yeah,
they
yesterday.
don't.
I see.
But, you know, I did want ideas, so I'm not meaning to shoot down every.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Panera, we decided was really corporate and we had to go through corporate.
Well, I did write a long letter a couple years ago when Marlene suggested them and sent them all the stuff and never heard that.
I did that for McDonald's.
Raul didn't get back to you.
I think we have enough and I don't want to take time from the long agenda. So if you have an idea, I'll try not to be too mean if I think it's not a good one, but.
and then that day, will you need help setting up and cleaning up as well, like last year?
Yeah, so if I have some people to pick up, and I know there's also people from NDI who will help too. So, but mainly to be there, and one of the fun things about being there beforehand is you can be part of welcoming people that come in, and that's really exciting to see families arrive and people of all ages.
Cynthia, I'll have,
Oh, you weren't
Whatever.
sure last time about whether.
this is the first time in years I'll be here
You'll
in
be there,
January, so
yay.
I'd be glad
You-
to.
And I think Marlene said too.
I'll be here too.
Oh,
Do we
great, but
still-
you don't have to pick up, just be there.
Do we still have name tags? Do people still have their
Ooh,
NHRC name tags?
If you didn't lose them,
Well, that's why I'm asking, do we need?
and we
get
need
them
to
for
know.
anyone who doesn't have them?
I thought I distributed them.
Yeah.
And then,
I don't have any more. I don't think.
and Keith will need them.
I'll write in my very best handwriting. Not very legible, but I'll do my best. I'll have somebody else write it. Somebody can read it.
Could I say two more things about the program?
Please.
Renaz is going to have be the introducer or, you know, at
MC.
the beginning.
Great.
And the theme is a carryover from the Diversity Summit, Belonging and Bridging. And so everything will be reflected, that theme will be reflected in the music and the presentation. And one thing we're working on, and if this happens, I think it will be very meaningful and touching. They are hoping, Raman has been working, maybe Cynthia, you know this, they are hoping to have a Jewish and a Muslim
Oh, I
clergy
forgot to mention that.
to speak about bridging and belonging. Not all of the clergy will not, as they usually do, say a few words, but they will have two representatives.
It's.
And that should really-
It
That's
won't,
powerful.
it won't be clergy from Muslim, and the person we've had representing Dr. Huma Farid is not available that day. She's doing surgery or something good like that. But they're working on finding another person.
Sanat, maybe.
Yeah, I think, well, we don't know, she said yes, and that as many as possible, trying to get them out, will be up there, in the background while the people are speaking, and they'll work it out together. And so there'll be one or two rabbis who volunteer.
That's great. Yeah. Great. Anything else you guys need from us? So check in with you, Cynthia.
Wear your
for
name tag,
ideas
so
or-
people,
Yeah.
once again, publicity.
Yeah.
Will you be able to come? You could, do you know?
I may be away, but skiing, but I'm not sure yet, I'll let you know.
You don't have to, but if you figure out about Hazel, then you
Yeah.
can get somebody else to pick up.
Okay.
And it have to be Saturday because they're closed Sunday,
Yeah.
Monday.
Mhm.
And do you know?
I don't know, I'll probably be here, if I'm here, I'll of course,
I'm
go.
not trying to put you on the spot, but I am.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, I have no idea what goes on in January, it's gonna be a crazy month. but-
And people brought up last month how important it is to have young people be involved, and we had thought maybe this year the Needham High Bomb Squad would perform. And I guess as it got closer to the time, they realized they didn't have any numbers ready to do, so
Mhm.
we're disappointed, but. And Amelia's been working on trying to find other ways to get some high school groups involved or individuals.
Are there any high school acapella groups that we can approach, something like that?
There are definitely a few groups, I could reach out to a couple people, excuse me, Liz. But, yeah, I don't know, cause it's that
Holiday.
weekend, yeah, that will be available, but I do think that they would be interested in doing that.
They always like to perform.
Yeah, I think at this point, we've kind of got the schedule filled up, except you were trying to find somebody to read the I Have a Dream speech.
Yeah, still working on it. Is there a way I could connect to Valine?
Yeah.
I've sent several emails, but I know she's probably swamped. Anyway, I'll talk
I'll
to you
text
later.
her. She just had.
Would you?
the,
That would be
um,
great.
Did you go to that? I think so.
I couldn't go. She had they just had the big Metco dinner last night.
And they invited NRN to come,
So,
which was cool.
I'll ask her.
Ask her if she would respond to my
Okay.
invitation.
To read the speech.
Well,
yeah,
or to find somebody.
There's an event, something going on at the high school right now called Poetry Out Loud, which might align with that.
Yeah.
A lot of kids are
Oh,
They-
cool.
practice memorizing, a poem. So I don't know if a top contestant from that would
It's
be
required
interested.
curriculum
Yeah,
going forward. Every high schooler has to memorize a poem, and mine's tomorrow. Mr. Seacott's judging
Okay,
class,
that's
so
gonna be great.
I'm a little nervous,
My
but
kid bomb.
yeah, so each teacher chooses, the judge chooses the winner from each class, so I don't know if it keeps going beyond that, but.
Yeah, cause I think it's
You could
kind of
think of
international.
probably
It's like one
somewhat.
of the, cause it's usually people that like have theater
Theater background, of
backgrounds
course.
that get it, there's a girl in my class who I know is gonna win. But I think people like that who are like passionate about that type of stuff would be interested in reciting something.
And if we find people who are interested in things and there isn't time, it's for this program, always looking for things in the future. too.
Right.
So that's a really great idea. Is that just the seniors?
No,
No,
it's
it's
all
the whole
school.
school. The whole high school.
Are either of your kids doing that?
They already, the opportunity came and went.
I've got it. But they're
That's bad.
just,
We're moving on.
they're just
Moving on
not
from it.
kids.
It's not good. It's not good. Okay, so I'll reach out to Lorraine. Anything else? So we'll contact you, Cynthia, for any additional ideas for donations and to coordinate if we're going to be attending things that you
Yeah,
need us to do.
I can send something out to people too,
Okay,
but probably the first of the year. We've already got enough
Yeah.
happening right now.
but it's coming up fast. Right?
Yep, that's why it's pretty much in place. It's just, that's the final part, like what time to arrive and stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
The multicultural festival, do we want to take this on? I am a yes. I am a yes on this. We already have a few people that in conjunction with the Resilience Network. And somebody else reached out to me that was a part of the planning group last year, and I don't remember his name. Said that so a few people outside of our
From
group,
the Rotary Club, maybe?
Like Bob Olson,
maybe.
that helped a
I
lot.
have to look at the emails. But I do think that if we have obviously a coordinated effort with other folks, not just us,
Mhm.
because we lost sort of the crux of the organizing group, with Renaud's no longer on the committee. I think we can do it. It's just a matter of finding folks.
Yeah.
And as I said, the Resilience Network does want to partner with us on that. So
And I think NDI too.
I think,
We've had conversations, not planning, but long ago, you know, the question came up. Should we, and there was a positive response at the time. We didn't vote on it, but
Yeah.
there's interest.
It's mainly having one or two people who will put more time than they know they're doing into it.
right. So I guess if we sort of can figure out from all of our networks, identify at least 1 to 2 people that we can put together a steering committee, and
Good
then we
idea.
can go from there.
Tina, if I just mention one thing, I know that, so my son is a third grader at Newman,
Yeah,
and Newman is putting on their own multicultural festival. I don't know if.
Elliot did one too last year.
Oh, okay, so cause I don't remember them doing it last year. I mean, I remember the one that we put on, it was
Yeah.
amazing. It's like the highlight of like the year, really.
Yeah.
Right, it was awesome. So, I know theirs is scheduled for February 11, 2025, 3 to 5, but I didn't know if there was some way to like coordinate with the schools to try to really,
That's
because the
a good
idea is
idea.
to share people's cultures, right? So the bigger, the broader that we can go, I think the better.
I don't know what happens at the school. I have never been to a school version of these. Yes,
Yeah, so they're run obviously through the PTC
okay,
and, yeah, and it varies on size, just kind of depending on the bandwidth of the PTC and how many people in the community are interested. I personally think it's a great resource to talk to those organizers, since they've already done a lot of the work, and you're literally just pulling families over from that event to
the
the
larger community one, okay.
For Newman, I was active on the PTC and I have good relations, so I'm happy to reach out to
Yeah.
co-presidents and see if there's any, kind of resources we can steer our way, but yeah, I think it's an awesome thing. I guess it's trying to find a big enough space to accommodate, because we were busting out
Yeah,
at the seams
so-
last time.
Yeah, there were several issues like
We
that.
need a bigger space. We need to get the contact list so that we can reach out, and most of those contacts were Renaz's contacts. So we need to figure that out. I don't know if there was any permitting. I know she did go
Yes,
through
health
some permitting,
department.
especially with the
Yes.
food.
There was.
So we have to do that. We need to figure out a date.
I think your idea of the steering committee is really good. So
Yeah.
if these questions you're formulating, instead of trying to answer all of them in advance. to
Yeah.
get
Is
So
those
these are
people
like, these are
together.
the big,
And if Bella,
Thanks.
I think, said she would do it, and Zanat doesn't want to do it alone. So
We're not won't do it.
Is there a space?
she can't because she's put time into this other project.
I have some qualms about this organizing this. We need someone like Renaz. We need a person that's going to be the top person that coordinates and
Agreed.
communicates. Because if you don't, you're gonna have one group running off and doing their own thing. And this is based on my recent experience organizing an event. Some people do things at the last minute. That can't happen. We have such a good reputation now because of that festival. And when I was doing the report and I saw that video again, I thought, I can't believe what a wonderful event that was. And people want to replicate that. They want to come, they'll come back.
Yeah,
This
they-
is this is part of our town history now. But we need someone, whoever, if it's gonna be someone from Human Rights Committee, someone that is going to be the person in charge of facilitating all the other groups. And that it worked because Renaz did that.
Yeah.
And Renaz and Zanat. Zanat was a fantastic organizer. She took notes. So every meeting, and Bud and Marlene and I were on the planning committee. And she did PowerPoint, her notes were
It's amazing.
PowerPoints of things that we talked about, the minutes or information that they gathered. They were on top of things. If that doesn't happen, we have 3 major organizations with people with lots of ideas and may not share that with others, and it could be
A disaster.
a disaster.
Yep, people have to buy into the structure that's set up.
Right.
Okay, so,
I don't mean to discourage,
No,
I think
I
we can
know.
do that, but let's think about who.
yes. I don't, so when I talked to NRN, they would like to be involved, but I do not think that they would want to, unless there's somebody in that group that wants to spearhead, right?
That's some of the Xenots in that group. So NRN hasn't really done events.
Yeah,
So, and formally it ends in February.
right.
So I think some of the people who are involved in that could be involved, but I would not, I don't know that you would say that,
No,
that they could take a leadership because it isn't an organization like NDI, so. I think you're right, that you need 1 or 2, there could be co-leaders if they are good working together. Like Bella and Sinat, for instance.
It's looking at you right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to, yes, I do, I can feel you, you're looking over there, but I can feel you. No, I mean, like I said, it was a really amazing event, and my only hesitation is thinking that the standard is high, like you said, I want to make sure that if I was to take on
So you
Italy,
have
well, I think a steering committee and.
co-leader.
Yes, I think that would be great, but I mean, I think it was so awesome, and building it into some kind of like annual tradition every year, doing it around the same time, at the same day, it was awesome, and I mean, I brought my,
And I do think once we get through this year,
Right.
it'll be, because
yes,
we
the
will have
framework will be
the
there,
framework will be there.
exactly,
Because, we've lost.
yeah,
right?
I mean,
So once we rebuild and do it,
yeah, I'm all for borrowing good systems too, so
Then,
Renata, it'll be
the year
tonight.
going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should run a lot more smoothly.
Yeah.
And she recruited something like 40 or 50 people from the beginning who became a lot of the people who were the coordinators of the individual tables, and they were there. Well, I wasn't formally on the committee, but I got all of the notices and occasionally came to some of the things, but I was interested in the structure.
I
as
think
you
what
were.
was critical was the survey. That was an excellent idea. They started in terms of figuring out what is the diversity in town. They did a survey, and people responded. And
Mhm.
many of the people that were set up tables responded to that survey. And then Renaz also had a lot of contacts, and so did Bella. And maybe Zanat, but basically that survey provided a lot of interesting resources.
Yeah, and we still need to find the data from the feedback. There's a feedback survey that went at the end to all of the
Yeah, I have
people.
not been able to get an answer out of anybody for the results of that.
Now, I think it was Sinat who put that together.
It is not a ball.
Yeah, one or the other. I remember filling it out and probably lots of people did. So that's got the answers to some of the things that were
I think,
raised.
yeah, I reached out.
When we talk about space, and again, it's gonna be up to the committee, we shouldn't be doing committee work,
Right,
but would a place like Olin or Babson, or do we wanna consider, one of the schools?
yeah, all these things have come up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to,
Okay, so you and I will talk.
that sounds good.
Tina, could I just add one thing that Renaz and I had talked about before she started last year was how to handle money. And so I think NDI was the fiscal sponsor.
Yes, they
Yeah,
were.
so if that could sustain itself, that's the easiest model. In terms of processing private money through government is an absolute nightmare. So I just would recommend if NDI or any nonprofit is willing to be a fiscal agent, to please do that for
Yeah.
your sanity.
And the Rotary Club did a great job with publicity and some of the other things.
Okay, So
Yeah.
it's a lot to think about.
But it's, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's awesome. I don't think we can, stand to miss it. I know I can't.
Okay, so you and I'll touch base. I have to dig up who emailed me that said that they would be willing to
Yeah.
assist, and I'm sure we can find a few more people for the steering committee.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think we can, just organizing the organization is gonna be key, and then once that happens, I think we'll be in good shape. The working groups, have you guys, has anything come out of that? Has
No.
anything been happening?
I talked to Katie, she said, oh, I have, not Katie, no, you can answer.
We had an initial meeting, but it stalled out, so it's on our next year, early in the new year
I'd
list.
say with,
Yes.
with policy.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, how are you
um,
gonna get the two vacancies?
did you guys get the email? Did I send that to you? The reproductive task force documentary screening? Marlene had sent something about this.
No,
Did you send the actual video? Because I looked up the trailer, it was.
She sent a little bit of a blurb about it, and I thought I forwarded it to you guys,
haven't
but maybe I did not.
no,
So there is a documentary screening. It's called The Abortion Talks. It's being run by the Reproductive Task Force. And they're looking for sponsorship from us.
what's the reproductive task force,
I don't-
local, state, whatever?
I don't know. It was not clear to me in the email. Why don't I thought I sent that to you guys, so I'll send it off to you guys. I mean, in general, I don't know if it's something that is that too much of a lightning rod? I don't know, to get involved with. In general. I'm pleased.
Jen,
It's a 2
your words coming.
yard human rights,
Trying to keep it in my
reproductive,
head.
right, do you understand,
I have to have a pretty big human right, but that's okay.
So is this an outside group that's looking to bring it to Needham, that's looking for somebody to say, we'll show it?
yeah. Response, yes.
Yeah, we need to know a lot more.
Okay, so I'll send you guys the information on it. And then we can discuss.
So it's not like on any particular timeline.
It looks like it's reproductive justice task force at First Parish in Needham.
Oh, that's out of First Parish,
I think
oh,
that's what-
okay, I know.
I'm sorry.
And I don't know if any other houses of worship, have these task force too, because I know in Wellesley there are a couple that, reproductive justice initiatives and. Our temple's very involved in it.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you guys. I thought she sent it, I don't know. But we just have to decide whether or not we want to be involved. Okay. Can I just borrow your pen for a sec so I can just. Thank you. Why do I have, this is November 20th,
Yeah, that was after our last meeting,
okay,
and we sponsored it, and you want to report.
yeah,
Okay, this is an example of an activity where it's not everybody in the Needham Interfaith Clergy Association, it's participating members. Which would be the same if you had a reproductive rights, there are certain ones who participate. And this year it was done on Zoom. And as in other years, it was an opportunity to remember trans and gender nonconforming people who were killed in hate crimes or died by suicide in the past year. And it's also a chance of supporting the LGBTQ community and their rights. Co-sponsors included 4 houses of worship, NHRC, NDI, and the Needham High School Queer Student Union. The vigil was recorded and distributed to the community. It was done on Zoom because people were totally involved or overwhelmed with things that they weren't able to do it in person, which had been done last year and then the years before due to the pandemic. It was on Zoom. So I think everybody missed that part, but it was still really well done. And then sad but important event to have in the community, and I'm glad that this group has been able to be a sponsor over the years.
Okay, great. Thank you. The select board on December 5th on Indigenous Peoples' Day. I was not,
I was there.
yeah, how did that go? And
Well, Carrie gave a really excellent statement from Human Rights Committee. And there were a number of people of Italian heritage who spoke, some of whom said that they really liked the day because it recognized their heritage, although they understood that Columbus was not a good person to be celebrating. And then there were others for whom Columbus, the person, was so connected with the date, didn't want to lose that. One of the reasons that I was there, other than being in addition to being part of the Human Rights Committee, is that I was able to help have some folks from the Native Praying Indians be present online, and they were able to, one of them spoke, and the Needham Observer did a great job of covering the meeting, the hearing, and it turns out that unlike the hearing where there were so many voices wanting to have Columbus Day or some holiday for Italian American heritage, that the overwhelming number of comments that came into the select board were in favor of having Indigenous Peoples' Day. So we know on December 5th that they approved it 5-0, and it was an excellent discussion. I was very impressed with the select board and the members and the kind of things they had to say. And then this is the part that I wanted to especially share with you, that one of the people from Massachusetts Native Praying Indians, White Dove, wrote to say from the whole group their appreciation to all who supported this decision. They said that observing Indigenous Peoples' Day honors the truth of our history and our people, and is an important step toward healing. I thought that was significant. I'm proud of our community.
yeah, that's great.
And I wonder, would it be appropriate for us to send a note to the select board saying that we appreciate their decision?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Anything else on that? So that will be officially on I recognize on any public calendars.
Yeah, any communication from the town, it'll be Indigenous Peoples' Day.
When we think of a few years ago and that Fernanda Pinto and Nicholas took and 2 students independently on their own came to the superintendent saying they were very upset by this and they wanted to see a change from Columbus Day, and that some people, Amelia and I, and it was Marcus Nelson, represented this group on kind of informal group that supported the students who were successful in convincing the school committee to change on the calendar. And we were told that, that the select board needed more time or research or information, which they seem to have gotten. And so.
I want to compliment Carrie too. Her presentation was excellent.
Please.
And it was posted on our Facebook page, wasn't it? Wasn't her? I think I suggested,
No, we should look up.
could be.
Okay, great, thank
Yeah, it
you.
was beautiful.
The branding, the Needham Branding and Town Seal Committee. What's going on there?
You can sit it.
Gee, man, look at that. Could probably put off reporting, but since it's here. They, in the last meeting, they reviewed the purpose and scope. And we're getting set up to hire a person who is going to be, have to find the right word for it, consultant, and do quite a bit of work for the committee on, like surveying what's going on in other communities and, as things go along, helping to get the, proposals for a branding and a seal for people to see, and that there will be connection with the rest of the community and particular groups. And this group is an important group that they'll be touching bases with. Don't say that's it.
So what is the what is the process? I mean, is it a complete rebrand?
Okay, there are two things. One is the town seal, which we're used to seeing, that has supposedly Nahoyden, properly known as Nahatan, handing over the town for a pile of beans or whatever. They say. So, yeah, right. And the event that's portrayed is actually one that, well, it says 1711, which is when the town was incorporated. But the handing over of the land was really a larger tract of land that was Dedham and Wellesley and who knows how many other places. And that was in the, like 1683. I don't have all my notes here. So it's reviewing that every town in Massachusetts and municipality is required to have a seal, an official seal. And Teddy Eaton for the seal for all those town looks. But now it ends up on the trash barrels and on the trucks and on people's arms. And whether you want the town seal to be doing all that work, or whether there's also room for like a branding thing, like a logo. So probably they'll be looking into both of those.
Okay.
And then some of the discussions have been, in a way, the town seal is telling the story of the town. And what does the town mean to people? And what do you want to portray? If you want to portray the fact that there were indigenous people here for 11,000 years before all these other things happened, do you want to portray that moment when the land was sold? Or is there some, and even if you're portraying that moment, a lot of it is not correct in the way it's portrayed. So there's a lot to be done there, and also to find ways to involve people beyond that particular committee.
Is there a timeline as to
Yes.
when they want this?
Want it to be done by June, because that's when the grant money runs out. But, Kate was able to get money, Kate Fitzpatrick, our town manager, to hire, have to get the right name for what the person is called, who's going to do a lot of the work. Consultant will work collaboratively with the client, that's Town of Needham, and members of the Branding and Town Seal Committee. And assessing conditions, discussing goals, having a branding survey, analyzing survey results, making revisions, and eventually it would probably be going to town meeting. Completion date, June 30th. 2024.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Cynthia.
Oh, too bad.
You're up. The Interfaith Clergy Association response to what's happening.
Yes.
Do you need some water, Keith?
We cannot have to wear a mask and flu in ours. Yes, we're, I think, very blessed to have a group of people who are the clergy and representatives of houses of worship who are committed to being able to find a way to listen to each other across differences And we had 3 meetings prior to, the gathering on Monday to do the vigil. And we want it distributed as widely as possible. And part of what people were asked is, what do you think what does our community want? So that isn't just what individuals thought or what their congregations or their particular, orientation led them to, but what do we want for the community? And so they're looking for a way to grieve, to hope for peace, to acknowledge that we're broken. There's a lot of, so if you get a chance to look at it.
Yeah,
Where can we find it?
I sent it to you. I sent it to Tina, not knowing if you were sending out a packet of things. I didn't want to kind of go out of sync, and then I up and did it. Send it to everybody, but probably not enough time for you to look at.
Take another look.
Cynthia, this is probably something I should know the answer to. How many participants are in the Interfaith Clergy Association?
Okay, that's something that Reverend John Gage from the UCC Congregational Church was saying we ought to have a listing. And there used to be, back when when the Exchange Club did their directory, they used to have a listing of the Clergy Association and the members and their houses of worship. There are a few I'm not sure about. I know that Roman Catholic Church is part of it, but Reverend Brian Parrish is really overloaded because they're going to be bringing the 2 Catholic parishes together, and that's enormous work. But for instance, so he wasn't part of the vigil, but I know, I've talked to him and I know he wants to be part of things. He's written to us, he just isn't able to come. But there are a couple of new houses of worship, that people may not know about. An Assembly of God church that's now using the Baptist church. That's Cornerstone. It's called. And the pastor's fascinating me. I mean, he just can't come the days that they meet. And they're from it's a very diverse congregation. Then there's the Iglesia, the Presbyterian Hispanic Church, meeting in the Presbyterian Church on Great Plain Avenue. That hopefully someday we'll have connection with. Sometimes the Orthodox Church that's actually in Dedham has been active. And there are 4 churches that have closed in the last few years. But let me pass that on so people want to know.
Yeah, and Cynthia, I'm a member of the Exchange Club, and I know we don't do the directories anymore, but we have a website, so if there's any interest in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're in the Exchange Club.
Yep.
You may know my husband, Roland Stern.
I do,
He hasn't,
absolutely,
he
yeah.
hasn't been there lately because we're both elderly and we want where I'm at.
Yeah,
Not
the
eat
last-
food and,
That's right, I know the
Come
last couple of
home.
years have not been easy, but yeah, no, I've been a member about 5 or 6 years.
Oh, I'll
It's
tell
great,
you.
I have an awesome time there, so
yeah, it is fun.
it is. 4th of July, it's pulled me right in.
Any other questions about the Interfaith Clergy Association? Okay, I just gave you guys a membership update at the beginning of the meeting, so 2 interviews. Miles hates me because I keep missing the meetings.
Oh, I can imagine. He'd
Miles
be very
hates
nice about it though.
So you should you should just text me when I told him, you just call me 30 seconds before I need to get on and I will be there. So hopefully we have 2 folks,
Great. We have how many openings?
2, I believe.
Hopefully.
I believe we have 2 openings.
yeah, you all should start thinking about, folks that.
Replacing
Come on.
ourselves.
after
Oh, really?
graduate.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of that.
Please. You have any ideas? Preferably sophomores, yeah, so they can work through the entire,
There was someone I was talking
Unless you
to,
wanna do some PG years.
right, there was someone I was talking to at, what was it? It was the fair we were at, like, I saw you and Carrie there, and I took your spot.
Oh, Harvest Fair.
Yes, and her daughter's a freshman, and we were talking, I don't remember her name now.
I remember
But-
you talking about that.
Yes, I don't remember, I'm trying to remember his name, but she was very nice, very intelligent, she was running for student council, I think. But there's definitely individuals in school that are, yeah. maybe.
maybe we
You
could
guys
go
have
from,
been
like,
great.
Are you guys in CCR?
No. It's so, I think it's pretty spotty if they're still running, it's unclear if they're still running it.
Okay, but I could talk to Beth and or Dr. Willoughby to see if they know folks too. But if you guys have, I mean, it would be better to get recommendations, referrals from you guys, since you guys are on the committee now and can speak about your experiences. I know you have a lot on your plate, but if anybody comes to mind, just send them my way and I'd be happy to have a conversation with them.
You're asking Beth Finance?
I'll ask Beth. Because it's gonna come fast.
Or some kids are Unreal Coalition with you?
Yeah, that's true.
I think
Beth is also
Adam
on that
I
too.
think is a senior.
Okay, so that's another good resource. There were a lot of students at the last meeting, actually, the Real Coalition. But a lot of them were seniors.
I'm counting 10 people who are all the way on. So,
Yes.
and then you add Keith, and it's 11. No, it's 10 with Keith, so then you have
We
two.
need two
alternates.
more. Two more and then two student reps.
So that's, we have them through June.
Are we increasing your diversity? With
With the current applicants,
the current applicants?
I only know one.
The one
I
who
don't
was here
know.
last time.
Either one of them. It was a phone call, so I have no idea. Yeah,
I know, it's hard.
it's hard, isn't it? It's very weird. You would think that, same with school committee. You know, there's never been a person of color in school committee.
Hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
God, you guessed that.
And people aren't banging down the door.
Right.
But just in general, you would think that. I don't know.
I don't know, there's a reason. I wish I knew what it was, because I reached out to two people, one recently and one before, who expressed interest. And went through a whole lot of exchange of information and then nothing. No response.
Let's put that on the list of the multicultural festival, I think.
Yeah, it's a very
Cool to-
strange phenomenon.
Mhm.
Yeah, select board.
I think it's a lot of pressure.
For a person of color to
Be like the.
Yeah, like you're the
You.
only
one.
Like you're the only one, right?
You feel pressure.
Almost the only one. Almost not here.
I don't feel any pressure. God.
I know we're advertising on Facebook and the website and all that stuff, I guess. In the
Like,
world.
only white people use Facebook.
I don't know where else.
Well, the only way is really one-on-one.
Right.
Reaching out to someone that they know.
That
Yeah,
doesn't work.
You
Always.
can.
I have tried too a few times. And it just doesn't, I don't know. It's a good question. Well, we'll keep on trying. I mean, that's not.
By the way, this reminds me of something I forgot. The Voices in Unity series is on again. They had their first meeting last
Yeah, where
night.
did I see that? I got, there was an email about that.
Well, they didn't
recently.
publicize it well, but the next one will be in January, and I'll send something to all of you, but that is a good place to discuss these kinds of issues, and we did, actually, we had an in-depth, with Anna, Geraldo Care, sharing her perspective of why people of color or people of diverse backgrounds are not coming forward and taking leading positions. We had some great discussions during that series. But anyway, it's back again, so I will share that information. You actually shared it with us. Well, I found out through you. I didn't even, and I was on the committee and I never got an invitation, but it was through you.
I got contacted by the schools
Yeah.
and asked if I could share it
what it
with the
was,
full
school.
committee.
Yeah, it was, that's how I found out.
So I
from
don't
you.
know who else they sent it to, but it came to me for you
Mm-hmm.
guys.
I think, I'll mention something to Joanne and Willoughby, her assistant needs to reach out more
So was it a virtual meeting? That last, yeah.
last night.
And
Yeah.
when is the next one, January?
It's January something, I don't know, I'll send all that to,
As long as it's not.
that
the same
information and
night
the
as
flyer, the Zoom link,
as long
it's
as
on Zoom,
as long as it's not January 18th when we meet.
it's a Wednesday,
Oh, then it wouldn't be.
we meet on, yeah, what's today, Thursday, yeah,
And we-
Wednesdays.
We were told last month by Marlene that At My Neighbor's Table was resuming in March for the program.
Okay, that's great. I didn't know that. So,
But I wrote it down from my own notes. I'm not sure I'm reading this right, it's March 3rd. On anti-Semitism, 5 to 7. Oh, it's a Sunday with the Temple Beth Shalom group. Let's see. I got that date right. But look at March. Yeah, March 3rd is a Sunday. They always met on Sunday.
okay, great. Love that.
I have a.
Yeah, we're now at the,
Okay.
anything else?
Okay.
portion of the program.
As most of you know, I'm Temple Beth Elohim's liaison to the Greater Boston Interfaith Organization. And our main thrust this year is housing, feeling that housing is a human right. And I just want to bring to everyone's attention that Senator Roush is going to be having an in-district meeting at Temple Beth Shalom, February 13th at 7:15. And as many of you that can come and bring other people, we just want to have as many people as possible there to.
Is it gonna be, is she gonna be speaking specifically on?
Yeah, I'm house. That's the purpose of the meeting.
Okay. Okay,
Could I add on to that, speaking of housing, good segue, the town's running a visioning process for rezoning for multifamily housing to comply with the MBTA Communities Act, so the next community workshop, it is January 18th.
Right.
But it's gonna
unfortunately.
be upstairs, so you all can run up and down if you want,
Oh,
it starts
really?
at 7. So this is proposals for where we would rezone for multifamily housing in town.
does it have to be a certain distance from the train?
Most of the area should be within a half mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty much everywhere needed, right? It's like-
We
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
lot of commuter
Lot
rail
of choices,
stations.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
communities just have one. We have 4.
Well, take Newton, they have a lot.
Yeah, right.
And the main thrust also is on the legislature to actually have them provide the funds to upgrade the public housing throughout the state. A lot of it, which is in total
I
disrepair,
mean, yeah.
and also new housing. And also talk about the, potential tax on sale of real estate over a certain amount, where some of the
Yep.
funding would go to the towns to provide housing,
So-
which is very important.
Yeah.
If we want school teachers, people in public service in the town to be able to afford to live in the town. Housing.
Yeah.
Has to become more affordable.
Yeah.
Another important housing initiative is the one with that was a week ago Wednesday for the Chambers Street housing as they're redeveloping that. And the proposal for a totally different kind of high-rise
Yeah.
housing, and that was, the hearing for that was last Wednesday.
So that's the Needham Housing Authority's community at Linden Chambers, and it's for seniors and folks with disabilities. Yeah, so they're proposing a whole new redevelopment, so they'll have to go to town meeting to get zoning approval and potentially some town funding that they've requested.
But they want community, they were having community input,
Yeah, yeah.
lots of it, but I understand. I was in another meeting. But I think it was recorded, so.
Yes, it's on the town's YouTube page.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else?
Seems like we've got a lot.
This is a record.
Well, I was
20 minutes in there.
mildly prepared, so that's why we're in here,
We did everything.
mildly prepared.
We're glad you're back.
Thank you. Okay, if there's nothing else,
I moved to adjourn.
I need a second.
Second.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Amelia,
Yes.
and
Type that, but then reports that you
Amelia.
Sure.
Happy holidays,
Or
you
I
guys.
can send you.
Do you want